On a weekday evening at San Diego's St. Mary Magdalene Church, a group of people are about to get educated about mental illness.
Okay, we want to welcome you to the opening class of NAMI Family to Family Education. We are very excited that this day has finally come and we can be together.
NAMI stands for the National Alliance for Mental Illness. Their Family to Family program is a 12-week course that aims to give people a better understanding of mental illness.
Any questions about the class?
Instructor Paul DiMartini tells the audience that over the next couple of months, they'll learn some coping skills, communication techniques, and strategies for dealing with a crisis.
It's the essence of what NAMI is about, which is really family members helping and supporting and guiding one another through the incredible challenge of mental illness.
Everyone in this room has a family member with a serious mental illness.
My brother developed bipolar over 40 years ago.
Including Anita Fisher.
And we got a phone call that said, "Do you know where your son is?"
She's the director of education for the local NAMI chapter.
Our lives changed.
When her son was 21, he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. He was discharged from the Army and came back to San Diego.
And then I didn't want to tell anyone. So we had our own sort of self-stigma because it was this mental illness, okay? We knew it fell under that category of mental illness, and that's not something that you talk about a lot.
Fisher and her husband didn't know what to do. But when their son became homeless and started to self-medicate with drugs and alcohol, Fisher knew that they had to do something. She heard about NAMI and decided to give them a call.
I thought they were going to say, "Oh my goodness, I've never heard that before in my life," but they didn't. They said, "I understand. I've had some of that in my own life."
Fisher and her husband took the Family to Family course. It made them realize that mental illness affects tens of millions of families, and it helped them get over their own biases about their son's condition.
It shouldn't keep you from treating me like anyone else.
As it turns out, NAMI isn't the only organization that's trying to fight the stigma against mental illness.
When it comes to mental illness, the stereotypes end when you get to know the person.
The San Diego County Health and Human Services Agency has an active anti-stigma campaign called It's Up to Us.
It's up to us to change our own perceptions, and it starts when you read up at up2sd.org.
And Cal State San Marcos is trying to do its part. The school is engaged in a year-long effort to destigmatize mental illness. On Halloween, the campus hosted a mental health fair. The event featured booths staffed by mental health providers and an exhibit by British artist Toby Allen. Each of Allen's colorful illustrations depict a mental health condition as a grotesque monster. Sophomore Melissa Munoz said she gets it.
To show how all these disorders, they can be very dangerous or malevolent, or they can even be seen as monsters to other people that destroy other human beings.
Becky Kalika is with the campus chapter of a national group called Active Minds. The group encourages students to talk about mental health challenges.
I've experienced anger and anxiety, but I never knew how to talk about it. It's quite like feeling like you're screaming on the inside, but no one can hear you. And you shouldn't be screaming on the inside, you should be talking about it out loud.
Cheryl Berry, the school's mental health educator, has spent years fighting the stigma against mental illness. She tells students when someone breaks their arm, they don't try to take care of it on their own. They see a doctor.
And at the same time, we should feel that we can address our emotional and mental health issues by going to see a therapist or a counselor or a psychologist or a psychiatrist.
We use that group wisdom model.
Anita Fisher believes education is the key to ending stigma. She feels so strongly about it that she left her career as a banking executive to work for NAMI.
And it's going to be very helpful to you.
Fisher says we need to normalize mental illness and stop blaming people who need help.
My son didn't go out and catch mental illness. He didn't know that this was coming, and we didn't know that this was coming, and somehow, we've been treated as though it's his fault.
Kenny Goldberg, KPBS News.